Reggie Matthew says, I have a question. So if I book a flight from IAH to Auckland and Auckland to IAH, IAH is the Houston airport, if you guys don't know, and from Auckland to Queenstown separately, while returning, do I have to go to the baggage area and get my luggage and then go to the check-in area to catch a flight for Auckland to IAH? How far is it from the domestic baggage area to the international check-in? It seems like a long question, but I just clear my path to make sure that I do the right thing. All right, so the Auckland International Airport, let's just talk about it a little bit. Let's just give you a bit of pointers right here. So the first thing that you have to know is that every single time you book your flight separately from two different airlines, you will need to actually go get your luggage, except if you do like transfer from, airline that will have the same kind of, they will be the same network and that's been all booked together and everything. So they arrange those kind of things. But for domestic flight in New Zealand, you are literally in a different terminal as well. So yes, when you're going to check in your luggage, you're not going to check in your luggage to Houston, you're going to check it to Auckland. And that's what gives you the clue on do you need to pick it up or not. It's basically when you check in your luggage and they put a sticker on it, does it say Houston or does it say Auckland? If it says Auckland, you have to pick it up. If it says Houston, you don't. And that's the same thing all around the world. Your number one clue when you're about to panic about your luggage, right? When you're like, I don't know if I need to pick up my luggage or not. Everybody has this thing, especially when you transfer. If you fly from Europe to New Zealand, you may do a transfer in Singapore or in Dubai. And you may be like, what do I need to do with my luggage? How does it work? Because you will change plane, right? If that happens, just look at your luggage when you check in, like literally when you're about to, when you give your ticket the first time and they're going to put a sticker on your luggage, on the handle. And on there, whatever destination it says, this is where you're going to be picking up your luggage. All right, so that's the number one thing that you've got to know right here. So, to answer your question, Reggie, I'm 99% sure that from Queenstown to Auckland and then Auckland to Houston, you're gonna need to get your baggage, collect your baggage and then go to the international airport. But because there is a 1% that I'm not sure of, check when they put the sticker on it and see if it says Auckland. Then you pick it up in Auckland. If it says Houston, you pick it up in Houston.
And you can always ask in when you actually check your bags in. Always, you can, if you're really unsure, just always ask the check-in person, like, do I need to pick up these bags?
I trust paper more. I trust paper more than asking people.
Look at the paper and ask the people, and just you definitely. It's easy enough to find out the answer, especially when you get there.
Yeah. All right. So yes, you're gonna have to collect your luggage. Once you collect your luggage, then you need to make your way toward international airport. That's something that a lot of people actually ask us about. How far is the domestic to the international airport? How do I get there? And how big is it? The first thing that I want to point out is that Auckland Airport is one of the smallest international airports I've ever been in. If you've been to Hong Kong, if you've been to Singapore, if you've been to New York, if you've been to Paris, all of those airports are about 3 or 4 times the size, or at least it feels like. Sometimes it feels like 10 times. I mean, in Dubai, you feel like, oh my God, it's 2 cities. So the Auckland Airport is relatively small compared to all that, right? So you're not going to get too lost. There's no need to panic too much. It's not that bad. But with that in mind, the international terminal and the domestic terminal are 2 completely different buildings, not quite far apart, but far apart. They're not as far apart as, again, some of those big airports that even have a train line between all these terminals, right? It's not that big, but it's very much separated, so you will have to actually move from one to the other.
Yeah.
Let's move from domestic to international.
All right, so there's 2 ways that you can move between the terminals. The first way is to actually take one of the buses. There's really regular buses which pick up right outside of the exit to the domestic terminal and take you on a trip which will literally take about 1 or 2 minutes to get to the international terminal. And these buses, they run, I would say, about every 5 minutes. They're going back and forth the whole time. And this is definitely a good option if you do have a lot of luggage, maybe if you just don't want to walk, because that's going to be your second option. So that's definitely an option. makes it easy to get between the terminals. Alternatively, you can walk. Because they are that close together, you can definitely walk within about 10 minutes. Usually I'd say about 7 to 10 minutes is the walking time you need to go between the domestic terminal and the international terminal. And to get between the two is super easy because there's a big marker on the floor. It's been painted, this big line. I can't remember what the color is, but I think it's a green line, which goes along the footpaths, takes you on a journey to the entrance of the international terminal. So again, this walk will take you about 7 to 10 minutes. You can definitely take one of those trolleys for your luggage and stack that up for your luggage and make your way across there. There's a few things to see along the way. There's a car park, there's a bus stop, there's a little seating area where you see
there is a water fountain, so you can you can rehydrate while
exactly
you walk.
About halfway through the walk you can get some water and refresh your palate and keep on going. But yeah, that's definitely usually that's what Robin and I do because we just can't be bothered waiting for the bus. We would rather walk, and we feel like walking might be a little bit faster because you don't need to wait for the bus.
Yeah, and to be fair, when you're between flights and everything, you want to stretch your legs.
Exactly.
You also, you want to have a little bit of exercise to be able to deal with the jet lag afterwards. You're about to embark to like a 10 or 12 hour flight after that.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I cannot suggest and advise enough to actually walk and not take a bus.
Yeah. So one thing we'd finally like to mention about this, about going between doing a domestic flight and an international flight, is to actually make sure that you do have enough time to check into your international flight when you're doing a domestic flight, then an international flight. Obviously, the usual time period that airports suggest for checking in to an international flight is 2 to 3 hours before your departure time. So try and not make your domestic flight only landing 15 minutes before your other flight departs. That would be absolutely nonsense. You need to actually make sure that you have enough time. And also it's super stressful trying to make flights which are super close together. The whole time you're just a ball of stress. You start to make mistakes when you're trying to figure out where you need to go. So definitely give yourself enough time to get from your domestic flight to your international flight.
Right, so that is all our tips for the Auckland airport. Just know that you do have some time to be able to, just know that you're going to have some places to be able to kind of rehydrate and all those kind of things as well. There's plenty of coffees, plenty of food places as well. So, you're not going to be completely lost. It's not a whole foreign airport.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you do have any questions, put them in the comment below. If you do have a sip of water for me, just comment with a water cup emoji. That'd be lovely. And is
there a water cup emoji?
There must be a water cup emoji.
Michael Mariano must know. He's got plenty of emojis.
20 emojis. All right, I love you. See, like and subscribe if you like this video.